This is ABC 15 News.
Because the simple fact is that, again, no 5-year-old child should be left in a landfill.
She's been missing for more than 4 months now, and today police started their emotional search for the body of 5-year-old Jhessye Shockley in piles of trash. The first of several 8-hour searches started this morning over at the Butterfield landfill. That's where we find ABC 15's Steve Irvin. And Steve, first off, how did today's search go?
Well, Katie, slow and cautious certainly as police just try to get their bearings here at the Butterfield landfill. We've talked a lot about just the scale of this search and the enormity of it. And one of the reasons why is because this landfill itself is so large. It is Arizona's largest trash facility, covers about 1,300 acres here, and they pile up the trash in these mountains that stand about 200 feet high. They literally receive trash from dozens of valley communities each and every day. And even though Glendale police say they have isolated this search to 1 day's worth of trash, we're still talking about millions of pounds of trash to go through. So obviously a very painstaking search ahead, one that is expected to take quite some time. I want to bring in Angie Holdsworth now, who has been following the search today, and we've talked about how painstaking it is, and police certainly have a lot to deal with in preparing for this.
Absolutely. It's just really hard to really fathom in a lot of ways. You consider they have to go through this trash, possibly even inch by inch of this trash, and really the trash, as you're looking out there, is so compacted. It may be like kind of a sponge, if you will, like this foam. It's compacted in there so tight, and then when they scoop it out, it expands about 2 or 3 times its size. So that gives you some idea of just what they're going to have to go through even after they get that scooped out of the landfill. But they're hopeful that they have some very specific information in this investigation.
It's kind of a sad thing that they're having to look with what they're having to look for.
A somber and monumental task where the hope for success hangs on a painstaking process. The 200 by 200 foot search area being analyzed scoop by scoop.
It's been just a kind of a long day going through what you can imagine anyone throwing away, both in a commercial dumpster and in your normal trash can. Investigators
take the material to a sanitary deck where it's then analyzed in great detail. The hope to find a substantial portion of the remains. But in all reality, investigators would be happy, if not lucky enough, to find small pieces of DNA and forensic evidence in order for police to make their case. Investigators believe the girl was dumped in a Tempe dumpster before it was transferred out here to the landfill. It's taken 4 months for investigators to get to this point. Police put a hold on the trash weeks after the girl went missing.
There's 1 day's trash in the area that we're in, and it's a particular day that is of interest to us. And there's caps through dirt that are placed on top of the trash for that day. So we're confident we're in the area that we need to be.
And obviously it's going to take weeks for this search to be done. And, consider, we've seen landfill searches like this around the country. We've even seen them locally. And a lot of times it just doesn't really turn up much. What's different, they say, this time around is they say they have some different GPS technology that's helping them really pinpoint some of the trash. And, tracking the trash truck that we even brought the trash and the little girl out here to begin with.
Yeah, it's definitely a very difficult search for them, and an emotional search for police as well. Some 40 people out here searching this landfill. We're told many of them actually volunteered for this duty despite many of the hazards that can be involved in searching a landfill. It's also been very emotional on the family of Jhessye Shockley. In fact, we were able to talk with Shirley Johnson today. She's the grandmother of Jhessye Shockley. She's also the mother of the woman that police are calling the primary focus in this investigation. She broke down in tears talking with us, frustrated over how long it's taken to finally get to this point. But we also asked her, in her mind, whether she believes her own daughter could be Jessye's killer.
I don't think I've raised someone that can hurt their child, and I would hope no mother is capable of doing this to their child.
Now, we also talked about previous searches of landfills, how they haven't been able to turn up much. About 10 years ago, many people may remember the murder case of Cookie Jacobson, that search taking place right here at the Butterfield landfill, and ultimately it didn't turn up anything. So I asked Glendale police today, what if they don't find anything after weeks of searching? Can they still make a case? As you can imagine, they're a little bit vague on that response. Certainly they put a lot into this investigation. They've gathered a lot of information. They say they are working very closely with the Maricopa County attorney's office, and right now they say they just want to make sure they've left no stone unturned and they can gather as much evidence as possible before they try to file any charges. Katie?